Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you today? Good evening, Hugo. Good evening, Juan. Good evening, Katie. Can you hear me? Good evening, Sandra. How are you?
Hello, teacher.
Hi, Hugo. How are you? Good evening.
I'm fine, thank you.
Good evening, Sandra. How are you? Hi, Juan Pablo. How are you today?
No escucho esto.
Good evening, Mayra. How are you? Okay. So we are going to start. I'm going to share today's agenda with you. Well, today we have the focus of our encounter is cultural presentation carried out by the teacher Katie Yoshi and this is Ian. So first of all, we will have the cultural presentation. Then we will have some review about the activities that correspond to Unit 4A. And finally, we will have okay. So that is what we are going to look at. So we start with David. Can you hear me?
Oh, hello, yes. I apologize. I think my microphone was muted before.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can share the presentation.
Sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
That I stop sharing my screen.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you can share yours.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so will I be able to share my screen now?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet, not yet.
Sí, lo que pasa es que como ella venía para este cuarto y el amigo estaba acá y entonces se pasó para allá, entonces para no cobrarle por la vuelta porque se pasó para allá y
Teacher, hello.
Sorry?
No, es que hay mucho ruido. Hay mucho ruido al fondo y no se escucha más eso incluso que su voz.
El 5, fútbol.
I think I can start now.
Nada. But we love it. Nobody. It was nice, man. It was really Y, Antonio, señor, yo pago un mes para esa habitación. Más costoso.
1 second. I'm
La
trying to check
habitación.
what's happening with the.
¿Cuánto quieres por 7 días más? 7 días. 7 días. ¿Por qué? Yo pago por eso. Por eso. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Yeah. Yo no le voy a cobrar tan costoso. ¿Me entiendes? Le voy a cobrar a 40,000 noches. O sea, le voy a decir.
Okay, hello, can everyone hear me? Everyone can hear? Okay, I just want to make sure the microphone's good. Well, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Kaylee. I'm going to be an English teaching assistant this semester at San Buenaventura. And so I'll be coming to this class maybe about twice this semester before I leave in May. But I look forward to being with all of you. So I'll get started. I'm going to share my screen. And the first part of this cultural presentation today, I'm going to share a little bit about the city where I live in the United States. Also, if at any time you need me to speak slower, or repeat anything, please let me know. Maybe you can put it in the chat and just say, teacher, please speak more slowly, or I have a question, or could you say that again? And I'll be sure to go over that information again. Did everyone understand that? Or would you like me to repeat it in Spanish?
I do idea. Understand.
You understood?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I understand a little.
Okay. Bueno, solo quiero decir, bueno, lo demás estará en inglés, ¿no? Pero si estoy hablando demasiado rápido o
Okay.
si ustedes quieren que yo repite algo o tienen una pregunta, por favor, párame o mandar un mensaje por el chat y diga, por favor, ¿puedes repetir eso? No entendí, o puedes hablar más despacito o algo. En cualquier momento de la presentación, porque quiero que todos entiendan y que todos estamos juntos, ¿no? Ok, ya empiezo.
Okay.
So, this presentation that I'll be sharing, let's see.
Por noches, como viene una noche, es más costoso. Así, por ejemplo, las niñas con bastantes 6 meses es más barato.
Let's see. Sorry, just a second. Share screen. Okay, so can everyone see this presentation?
Yes.
Perfect. So as you can
Yes.
see, perfect, thank you. I am from San Francisco, which is one of the most populated cities in
Excuse me,
California.
Kylie.
Yes.
Excuse me, Kylie. In this moment, I listen a lot of sounds. No, I don't understand. So
Oh, sorry, could you repeat that again? You can't hear me? Okay, if the sound issues continue, please just let me know. Or if they interfere with what I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to put the presentation like this so that I can see the chat still. Okay. So this is my city, San Francisco, California. One of the nicknames is the cool gray city of love, which comes from a poem. But I'm going to share a little bit about the different parts of San Francisco.
that bridge is typical. It's typical bridge.
Oh yes, we'll be getting to that. It's on the first part. Okay. So one of the things that is very
bridge,
famous,
yeah.
Very famous about San Francisco is the Golden Gate Bridge. And so we saw it in the previous slide. And we see it in the background of this slide. Technically, it's not gold. It's actually a red color. But it's called the Golden Gate Bridge. And the state of California, its nickname is the Golden State. So this is a bridge that you'll see on many postcards. Oh, wow. It's in a lot of movies and TV shows that are in San Francisco. So it's probably the most well-known landmark. So one thing that a lot of people who live in San Francisco like doing is to hike down to this beach. It's called Kirby Cove. And at Kirby Cove, there is a swing. So this is the swing that I'm on. And you have a great view of the bridge while you're swinging. So it's a very popular hike to go on. Okay, another famous part about California is hamburgers. Have any of you heard about In-N-Out before, by chance?
Can you repeat?
Have you ever heard of In-N-Out hamburgers?
I don't understand.
No, okay.
Can you speak more slowly, please? Word by
Is
word.
is famous hamburgers?
Yes.
It's very
So,
famous.
these two companies
It's famous hamburger.
are two famous hamburger restaurants in California.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm just curious if anyone has ever heard of In-N-Out before.
No, I haven't.
No, okay. So
No.
In-N-Out is the lower picture. It's a chain, right? It's kind of like Cocorico or El Corral. You know, there's many restaurants in California of In-N-Out. And
Burgers.
yes, hamburgers. And it's one of the most popular hamburger restaurants in California.
Yeah.
So up next we have coffee. San Franciscans, people who live in San Francisco, love their coffee.
Okay.
So when I told all of my friends that I was going to be in Colombia for 1 year, they were all very jealous because they knew that Colombia makes the best coffee in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were like, wow, I want to go to Colombia too. But yes, they love coffee. And they make many creative creations with coffee. So not just normal tinto. One of the things that they have made is a birthday cake latte, which we see on the right, and they make rainbow latte art. And so they like experimenting and making new types of drinks with coffee. So does everyone understand? Are we all on the same page?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, perfect. I'll keep going. Okay, and then the last bit of food. In San Francisco, there are many districts. So how many of you live in Bogota? Nobody?
Lasagna.
No one in Bogota? Okay.
I don't live in Bogota.
Okay, or maybe Medellin?
I live near.
Near, okay. Well, if you know about Bogota or about Medellin, since it's a city, it's a big city, there's different districts, right? So in Bogota, we have Usaquén, Chapinero, Centro, Candelaria. In Medellin, it might be Envigado, El Poblado, these different regions. In San Francisco, it is the same way. So one of the popular districts is called the Mission District. And it's because this is the place where the Catholic missions were. And this place happens to be the place where most Latinos live in San Francisco. So for example, other districts might have other ethnicities or immigration groups who live there, but the Mission District is mostly comprised of Mexican Americans or Mexican people from Central America, and also even some people from South America.
And do you know why the name is Mission District, no Latino, like Mission?
Mission is, oh yeah. So the mission that is in that district is Misión Dolores. But the word for misión, like the Catholic mission, is old mission. And so one of the most famous restaurants in this district is called La Taqueria. So it is a Mexican restaurant. And they have a special dish called the Mission Burrito. And so this is a picture of the Mission Burrito. This is one that has carnitas, so it's pork. It has salsa, it has beans, sour cream. And the thing that makes it, especially from California, is the guacamole in the burrito. So this is one of my favorite restaurants because I love Mexican food.
Yeah.
But has anyone tried Mexican food in Colombia?
Yeah, I have. Spicy.
Okay, what have you
I
tried?
haven't. I haven't.
No. Okay. What have you tried? What Mexican dishes have you tried?
Tacos, burritos. Yeah.
Quesadillas.
Ah, you know, I haven't.
Not yet, Juan Pablo. Okay.
No.
Has anyone else ever tried Mexican food? No, that's okay. I've seen, at least in Bogota, I've seen a few Mexican restaurants, but there's not that many. So maybe it's a little harder to find in Colombia because there aren't as many Mexican immigrants. But for example, in California, we have many Mexican immigrants. And so they have brought their culture and their food to our state. And historically, California used to be part of Mexico. And then it became part of the US. Oh, Fernando doesn't like Mexican food.
Yes, I don't like Mexican food
No.
because it's, how do you say in English, picante? Excuse me?
Oh, it's spicy.
Spicy, yeah.
Spicy. Mm-hmm. Yes, Mexicans love their chiles and their salsas.
But
yes, very different.
the spicy is in the other cultures is usually, but it's very good, excellent. But in our culture is not typical of for me exactly, but it's no good.
I have noticed that just like having like ajiaco or arepas, there's not really a lot of spicy sauces or spice that there is in. So yeah, that's a good observation.
Kaylee, I have a question.
Yes.
What is your favorite food in Colombia?
My favorite food in Colombia, well, is ajiaco, and I really like mojarra frita too.
Y bandeja paisa. No. Don't you like bandeja paisa?
No, but I don't like chicharrones. And so,
okay.
yeah, so bandeja paisa. But arroz con coco too. I really like the coast food. And ajiaco. There's really good ajiaco in Bogota. That's always good. Okay, so next I want to share some, so that was some food and districts. And so now these are some tourist destinations. So for example, there are these steps in the Sunset District of San Francisco called the 16th Avenue Steps. And it's at the cross street of 16th Avenue and Moraga Street. And at that cross section, you can see on the right, the residents of that neighborhood made an art project out of the steps. And each step has a unique mosaic tile design. When looked at from the bottom, it creates one continuous art piece. There's flowers. It's hard to see at the top. There's a sun and the moon. There's a river going through it. So if we zoomed in, we would be able to see fish and other marine animals. But so on the left, if you can see, that is the view of if you're standing on the steps and looking out. And then on the right, it's if you're turning around and looking up to the steps. And this long street that we see on the left, like going down the stairs, past the tree, and if we keep on going down that long street, we would reach the Pacific Ocean. So just to give you a sense of, San Francisco is very close to the coast. Okay, so this is another district, Chinatown. So we talked about how in the Mission District, that's where most of the Latinos have settled. And of course, Chinatown is where many Chinese immigrants have settled. And the San Francisco, so Chinatown, there are many Chinatowns in other cities. For example, Los Angeles has a Chinatown. Even La Habana in Cuba has a Chinatown. I don't know if you knew that. But the San Francisco Chinatown is the largest Chinatown outside of Asia. So many, many people live here. In my opinion, the best time of the year to visit is during New Year, and not January 1st, but during the Chinese New Year, which is usually in February. And they have a spectacular New Year's parade, including fireworks and lots of costumes. They have a giant dragon made up of many, many people. So one person is the head, and then all the other people are the body and the tail of the dragon, and they snake through the street. And it's a very, very amazing parade to watch. San Francisco, we don't have Carnaval, you know, no like Carnaval de Barranquilla. So this is like the famous parade since we don't have Carnaval de Barranquilla. It's the parade that everyone watches. Did anyone go to Carnaval, by the way? Or has anyone gone in their lifetime?
Yes, in the Barranquilla, Carnaval de Barranquilla.
Have you gone before?
It's very, very, very fun. Yes, it's good.
Has anyone else experienced the Carnaval de Barranquilla?
No.
I haven't gone.
No.
I haven't gone.
I have not either. Some of my friends went a few weeks ago, and they said it was great, and all the pictures that they posted looked really amazing. Okay, let's go next. Okay, so this next page, this is called City Lights Bookstore. It's one of the older bookstores in San Francisco, and it's very big. It's 4 stories, 1, 2, 3, 4, all filled with books. And it's very historically important because in the 1960s, the beatnik authors and poets, this was kind of their home base. So this is where they met. This is where they discussed their books. And then this is the publisher that first published their books. Most of you probably haven't heard of them, but by chance, has anyone heard of the beatniks?
No. I was about to ask you what is that because I don't know.
Wait, one more time. Could you repeat that, please?
And that I was going to ask you because I don't know what.
Oh, yeah, okay. So the beatniks were people such as Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg, and they were a movement in the 1960s in the U.S., which started in San Francisco and eventually spread to the rest of the country. It was part of the counterculture movement. So similar to in Latin America, you have the boom authors, like Garcia Marquez and Julio Cortázar. Are we familiar with that movement? Oh, no? I mean, it's kind of similar, but it was just this new group of authors who kind of changed the history and trajectory of literature, which from Colombia, Gabriel Garcia Marquez was one of the most famous authors from the boom movement. So this is kind of just as important, but for the United States. So think of like, our Gabriel Garcia Marquez started in San Francisco. Kind of like how Gabriel Garcia Marquez is in Cartagena, true? I think. But so just to give you maybe a little bit more context. Okay. Okay, and so this is the only location that is outside San Francisco. But this is the University of California, Berkeley. So this is across the bay from San Francisco. And this is where the free speech movement started, which again was have any of you heard of like the hippie movement?
Hippies, yes.
A little bit, or like Woodstock. So in the 1960s, again, this is a very famous movement in the United States, and it had its roots in Berkeley, which is very close to San Francisco. Yes.
Okay, and about the bookstore. Mm-hmm. So I remember in United States. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the specific city. Mm-hmm. New York. It's a free, little free library. You can find books in the down in a lot of downs. Always you can find books, but it's very good. It's okay. a little free library. It's
library.
Typical library, yeah.
Little free library. Yeah, I've heard of those movements before. Yeah, I think it's a really good social investment to give people access to books like that. Okay. And then the pictures are just one of the buildings in the university, and then on the right is the bell tower of the university. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay. Another very famous spot in San Francisco is called Golden Gate Park. And this is the biggest green space in the city. So again, I don't know who's from Bogota or if you've ever visited, but it's kind of like Parque Simón Bolívar. It's in the center. It's just a very big green space. But inside the park, there's also many museums and other smaller parks. So for example, we have the Academy of Science. We have the Japanese Tea Garden. There's art museums. And so it's a very popular spot to go. On the weekends, a lot of families will take their children there. And then one of the pictures I chose on the left, if you can see, it kind of looks like a bubble, like a burbuja, a bubble. So inside this bubble, they maintain a rainforest environment. So in the United States, in San Francisco, we don't have rainforest. We don't have Amazonas or anything. But inside the bubble, they keep it at a very hot temperature and very humid so that plants and animals from the rainforest can survive inside. And so for San Franciscans, that's one way to kind of experience the rainforest without having to come all the way to South America. Because many people can't do that. Okay, how are we doing on
in Golden Gate Park? Mm-hmm. In Golden Gate Park, are there animals?
Yes. So, for example, as I said, inside this rainforest bubble, it's like a burbuja de la selva. There's butterflies, birds, frogs, snakes. Many species that would be in the rainforest. In this same structure, underground, there's an aquarium. So there's fish and seahorses and octopuses and squids and sharks, many other types of fish.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's several animals. There's an alligator. Yeah, several animals.
Why,
Are there,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question.
Yes.
Why does it have the name Golden Gate Park?
So Golden Gate, it's named after the Golden Gate Bridge. And so, yeah, I kind of just took its name from the bridge. There's a lot of, because the Golden Gate Bridge is so famous in San Francisco, a lot of things take that name. So this is Golden Gate Park. For example, there's also a Golden Gate University. There's many things called Golden Gate just because it's the most famous landmark of San Francisco. If that answered your question.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay,
Miss
yeah,
Kelly,
good question.
and I have the question, how many square meters have a Golden Gate Park? Is very big?
That's a good question. So San Francisco as a city is actually pretty small. It's only about 15 kilometers long and 15 kilometers wide. So it's very tiny compared to, cities like Bogota or Medellin. So Golden Gate Park is a decent chunk of the city. Here, I can show you real quick.
Okay.
You'll be able to see it looks like a panhandle. So this is San Francisco. As you can see, it's a peninsula. So it has water on 3 sides. And then this part right here where it says 101, I don't know if you can see right here, that is the Golden Gate Bridge. And you can see Golden Gate Park is this green rectangle in the middle of the city. So this is Golden Gate Park right here. And then this is the city of San Francisco. So again, it's a pretty small city, but many, many people live inside. It's very dense. Okay, are there any other questions? Concerns, doubts? No, okay, perfect. Okay, so this is another park in the city. It's called Dolores Park. And this is very close to the Mission District. As I said, the Mission in San Francisco is called Mission Dolores. And this is a very popular spot to spend a Sunday afternoon. So as you can see in this photo, many people brought their picnic blanket. They have lunch there. They bring their kids there. They bring their dog there. A lot of people will play lawn games, like frisbee or playing with football, or games like cornhole. And so this is a very popular spot to spend a Sunday afternoon.
Dolores Park is relaxing.
Yes, Dolores is, it comes from Mission. And so, yes, and it's very close to the Latin district of the city. I mean, even San Francisco, the name San Francisco, the Spanish name, in English it would have been Saint Francis, right? But yes, because the Spaniards were the ones who established the city first. So it has a lot of Spanish influences. Okay, and this is the last slide. So this is a second view of the Golden Gate Bridge. If you look behind the Golden Gate Bridge on the other side of it, that would be where this photo was taken. So this photo, we're kind of looking at it from one side, from the northern side. And then in this photo, we're looking at it from the southern side. So it's the opposite perspective. What we're seeing here is another beach called Baker Beach. And then again, it's a very popular spot to go spend an afternoon. This is the Pacific Ocean that we're seeing. So on the western side of San Francisco. And again, the Golden Gate Bridge is just the most famous landmark in the city. And so many tourists will go here to snap a photo. Many native San Franciscans also enjoy spending time here. And so it's kind of just like the image that most people have of San Francisco. Okay, and that was the last slide for this section. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Yes, excuse me. Golden Gate Bridge, how many kilometers?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure.
I don't listen.
Yeah, it's that's hard for me to say because in the United States we use miles, which is a different unit of measurement than kilometers. I'm not exactly sure how many kilometers it is. It is a decently long bridge though.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I'd have to Google that because I don't know that fact off the top of my head.
I have a question. I'm not sure if in San Francisco there are like some buses, like some trains are famous there.
Oh, cars. Do you mean streetcars potentially?
I don't know. Can you write it down in the chat?
Okay. Oh yeah. So okay, almost 3 kilometers long for the bridge. Streetcar. I can actually, okay, while I'm still sharing this, yes, that is another good point. That is another part of
Oh yeah, those ones.
yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I put that into only street. So it's called a streetcar. It's either called a streetcar or a cable car. But yeah, so these are actually historic landmarks. It's the only, so the Golden Gate Bridge, for example, is a landmark. The streetcars are also a landmark, but they move. And so it's unique because they're the only landmarks that, you know, aren't stationary. So this is the F streetcar, and these are still used today. So they're you can tell they're very old-fashioned. Especially this one, they're very old. But what San Francisco did, because these streetcars and cable cars were such an important part of their history, what they did was renovate them. So they took the old ones, they fixed them up so they would still work. And so if you go to San Francisco today, some people even take this to work. And that's their mode of transportation.
They
yes,
exist only in San Francisco?
One more time?
Only in San Francisco you can see those streetcars?
I'm not sure if San Francisco is the only place. Definitely a long time ago, many cities had this, you know, before metros and, you know, the newer technologies. Your teacher's also explaining that Bogota also had, it's called a tranvía, right? I think.
Transmilenio, no?
No. I think it's called tranvía. But Bogota had these streetcars as well.
Yeah, in Bogota, excuse me. In Bogota, there was like a green one. There was in Bogota, it called
the Savannah.
Trolleys. It was 30 years, 20 years ago.
Oh, that's not that old. Okay.
Yes, it was like a green one, and it was so funny because suddenly the energy
Hmm.
go out, and so
Oh,
or
that's too bad. So
yes,
no more.
but yes. So it was I think it must be the solution for an ecologic transportation.
Mm,
I have a question, teacher.
potentially. Yes,
The name is streetcars or tram, or
streetcars.
is the same?
So this is a streetcar. So streetcars. Um, so again, like, okay, I'm gonna tie this back to what I was saying. So we can see here in Bogota, this looks like, it's the same kind of idea with the cable. But you can tell these are very old photos, right? It looks very similar to the San Francisco ones, right? This is in Bogota. This is San Francisco. So what's unique about San Francisco is that we still have these. Because in a lot of other cities, these methods got replaced by metro, subway, so they don't have them anymore. But San Francisco has preserved this part of its history. So trams, to go back to your question, trams are a little newer. So streetcars are more of this old-fashioned type of transportation, whereas a tram is going to look more like this. I'll flip the picture. Oh, that's a tram too. I'm thinking. So
Kylie,
when I think of tram, I think of this, which is kind of like a newer version of a streetcar, but it's kind of like higher technology. Tram also, this might be a good spot to say. So I'm from the United States, so a lot of my vocabulary comes from the U.S. Sometimes in England, even though we both speak English, they have different words for the same thing. So I'm wondering if this is what they call it in England. I'm not sure, but when I think of tram, I think more of this more modern tram. But yeah, that's a good question.
Okay.
Kylie,
Mm-hmm.
the streetcar in San Francisco, the color is the middle. I see the green, but it's possible, and the green is a public or private, or for
Oh,
example
so
in London,
this
the
is all public. This
is
is all public
the mean.
transportation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so the green one is the F Market train. But as you can see, there are other colors. The green one is just the one that runs the most. It's the most used. And so I think that's why there's so many pictures of it. But we see there's also blue and yellow ones. So yes, yeah, this is definitely a special part of San Francisco.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other questions about this? Or comments, even general questions too for me? Okay, if not, I'm going to move on to the last little section of the presentation. I know, Fernando, I've already met you in a conversation club. I just wanted to give a plug. A plug is kind of like an invitation or an advertisement or sharing information. But I want to give a plug for Conversation Club because I think it's a really great opportunity for me to be able to talk to you, but also a space for you to be able to talk with other students in English and to practice, especially your verbal speaking skills more. For example, in this class today, it was a lot of me talking, right, with a few questions. But in conversation clubs, the goal eventually is to have, mostly students be the ones who are communicating. And this semester, one thing that we're doing a little differently from last semester, which I don't know if any of you were in it last semester since this is basic 1. But this semester we have each conversation club divided by level. So we have basic conversation clubs, and then we have intermediate conversation clubs, and we have advanced conversation clubs. And then in each of those categories, I will be switching up the activities to best match that level. And all of you are welcome to join intermediate and advanced conversation clubs as well. If you'd like to challenge yourself, you know, maybe you'll do a little bit more listening than speaking. But it still, I think, would really benefit you to be able to hear more English. But yes, the basic club, I'll be tailoring it for this level. So the topics that we have will be a little easier, and I'm going to speak more slowly than I would. In the advanced class, I basically just speak at my normal pace, but I would speak the same speed I would speak with another English native speaker. But yes, I just want to encourage you at least once, you know, this semester, the more you can, the better, but at least once to come to one of the conversation clubs to get that extra practice. And then each club will be a different topic. So, you know, we'll watch movie trailers, we'll read poetry, we'll listen to music. And so it'll be different each time you come. But I just wanted to encourage you all about that. Does anyone have questions about the conversation club?
No.
Or como si alguien, no, okay. So, ¿y todos saben cómo registrar para los clubes de conversación, sí?
Yes.
Yes.
I was in the club conversation on
oh, yes, Juan Pablo, sí,
Tuesday.
sí, sí. Yes. Sorry. Your screen was blank, and so I didn't see it. I only saw Fernando's screen. Yes,
Okay.
Juan Pablo also is there. Okay, with that said, this is just the last little section I wanted to share with you. Okay. So this is the last section. This is time too, if you want to write down some notes. I'm just going to share a few resources, and then I'll be done with my section of the presentation. These are some of the resources for you to use on your own as well. So the first one, if you'd like to write this down, is called Newsela. So if you Google Newsela, Newsela, it'll probably be the first link.
Very good.
Yeah, so Newsela is, let's do library. Newsela is great for really anybody trying to improve English, especially their reading and vocabulary and comprehension. So if this loads. Okay, so I'm just gonna choose, I'll just choose this science article. So Newsela has many articles with many categories: science, literature, history, politics, lots of stuff. The way it works is we have this article, but up here, you can switch the level of English. So it will be the same article, but at different levels. So math is the most difficult, most advanced level. So if we read this first sentence, can I have a volunteer read this first sentence for me?
Me, I want to.
Okay, go ahead.
Hunting and killing have driven a dramatic decline in the orangutan population on Borneo, where nearly 150,000 animals have been lost from the island forest in 16 years, conservationists warn.
Perfect. So it's pretty complex. You know, it's a long sentence, some difficult vocabulary. So what we can do is change the level. We have all these levels, but let's choose the very easiest level. Okay, so 580. Volunteer to read this first sentence? Anybody? Do I have to choose somebody?
Reading, teacher.
Yes, the first sentence.
I am going to try.
Okay.
Orangutans are large, raised brown apes. They belong.
That's it. One sentence. So,
okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Orangutans are large, raised brown apes.
Okay, so do we see how that first sentence is much easier than when it was at max, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So one activity you can do is go on this, you know, maybe read the article at an easier level so that you can understand what the article is saying. And then you read it a second time, but you put it at a higher level to challenge yourself. But since you already understand the article, it will help you the second time around in case there's some words you don't understand. To read the article out loud so you can also practice your speaking pronunciation skills and so you can hear yourself speaking in English. Again, while still getting all the benefits of reading. So that's one resource I wanted to share with you. The second resource I wanted to share with you is a podcast. There you go. So you can either Google Luke's English podcast like this. Luke's and it will I'll just show you on Google. Luke's English podcast. It should be the first one that pops up. So this is a man from Britain, so he's going to have a different accent than me. But this is a podcast made for English learners. So he has all of these articles, all these podcasts. She has a lot of stuff about phrasal verbs. So you know we can go to his phrasal verbs website. But this is more listening based. And so if you have 10 minutes to listen to some English and you want to learn a new expression, a new idiom, this is a really good website to go to. So those are just two resources for now. If you come to the Conversation Club, I'll be sharing more resources each week, and we'll be using different resources each week. But that's just a snapshot, just in case you can't attend any Convo Club. These are some resources that you can use on your own to get a little more English practice. Does anyone have any questions? Any? Oh, sorry, what was that? So no questions.
No questions.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me today. And I really hope to see all of you in a Conversation Club soon.
Thank you, Kylie.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Nice to meet
Thank
you.
you very
Okay,
much.
thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. It was very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. Well, hope you have enjoyed
Teacher,
the presentation. Yeah.
this sound is very low.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I tried to speak louder. I don't know what's the problem with the sound today. I'm so sorry. Is it better now?
It is low yet.
Okay. I hope you have enjoyed Kayla's presentation. So, well, as you could see, you received a mail from Professor Jorge Munoz with the schedule of Kayla's presentation. So, well, anyhow, I will be sending you some emails when we are going to have Kay again in our classes. Okay? Okay, just to finish, we had an activity for today that was the write and run activity, but we are going to develop that activity next encounter. Okay?
Okay.
Not today, because well, we are running out of time, so we are going to have that activity next week. I just wanted to remind you about the activities that we have next week that correspond to Unit 4A. Um, okay, first of all, we have the poster of a famous person. So you have the tutorial and explanation in the study guide. So what you have to do is to choose a famous person. You have to look for information about that person. For example, check if you want a singer, an actor, the person you prefer. You have to look for his or her background information, nationality, marital status, profession, hobbies, any information you want to put. And you have to create a poster about that person. You can use different programs. If you want, you can use PowerPoint, or if you want, you can use Poster. Well, the program you prefer, and you have to post the posters in the forum. Yeah. And the idea, remember that in the forum is very important to participate, comment on your partner's product. So the idea is that you use the structure you have in the slide. That is, I am surprised that, for example, you can say, I am surprised that Shakira looks very young and she's 40 years old, for example. So the idea is you to comment on your partner's poster. Yeah. And the ones that made the poster are supposed to answer to the ones that comment on your post. Okay? And during the encounter, you are supposed to present the poster that you did. And we are going to have more questions for your post. Okay? So I think that, well, I hope next week we are going to have enough time to do both activities. Maybe we are going to take a little bit longer, maybe 60, 70 minutes, because we have the write and run activity, but well, in fact, that activity is very short and very easy, so we are not going to take longer. And then we will have the presentation of the post for next week. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, teacher, is clear.
Okay, great. And there's another activity that is a quiz about countries and nationalities. So the idea is you to check the tutorial and practice the vocabulary related to countries and nationalities, and then you can take the test. So those are the activities that we have for next week. And that's it. Do you have questions?
Teacher, I have a question
Yeah.
about the wiki,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to do that. And I download some pictures. I know I have to write down some the description, but I don't know how to put in the wiki.
Okay. So let me share the virtual classroom with you. 1 second.
Is it a teacher? Is it a teacher? Here is a teacher.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you go to course units, unit 3A. Okay, here you have wiki. And if you want to include something, you have to click on edit. Yeah. The idea is that you post here the picture and the description, the name of the adjective, and then you click on save. Or if you want to preview it first, click on preview, and then you click on save. Yeah.
Teacher, we must put the pictures and the description in each letter. Example in B, C, D, like that.
Yeah. For example, if you want to include something in the letter B, so you place here your picture and the word, the sentence you are going to include in the book.
Okay.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yeah. Tell me.
I can put other letters or
Yeah. Yeah, you
yes?
can include more letters. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. More questions?
No more.
Teacher,
Thank
about
you.
the letter A, we can edit that letter because
Yeah. Yeah, but you have to be careful because maybe you can erase something. So you have to be careful when you edit. Yeah.
because when we click on edit in that page, appear like all the letters B, C, D, and the others, but A is not.
It's not there. I guess that maybe no one has included an adjective that is not.
But why it appears like or is that the page A? It's like the name of the page.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably, yeah. Because here you have editing this page 8.
Okay, so we can include it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do you have more questions?
No more.
No, no more. Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Well, so thank you very much. Well, I wanted to ask you something. Were you able to see the last week's quiz results?
The last one, I'm sorry?
The listening quiz. Were you able to see
The feedback?
Sorry?
The feedback? Or what? The rate?
listening quiz that you did last week. Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay, did you see the results?
Yes. I saw
Yeah?
the result. Yeah. I saw.
Okay, well, I wanted to know that because uh, it was supposed that you were able to see the results the day you closed the week. It means on Monday. So I wanted to know that. Okay, well, okay. So thank you very much for taking the session.
Bye, teacher.
Hope you have enjoyed Lily's presentation. It was really interesting. And okay, thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a good
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Okay, have a nice rest of night.
Sandra,
God bless you.
Sandra, next week. La próxima semana vamos a trabajar Write One, the Write One activity y la presentación del póster. Okay. So thank you very much. Have a good day. See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Sabía que iba con los textos acá. Sabía que tenía aquí un